What's up, everybody? It's Vince from Crushing Strength, Fitness, and MMA, and UFC 302 lived up to the hype for sure. Kind of a slow burner of a card. The prelims were kind of slow. Everybody was playing it a little bit safe, a lot of grappling. Um, but honestly, it really warmed up pretty well, especially with the first fight off the main card. And right after that, it just went uphill from there. And so just to, we'll mostly just talk about the main card, but another good performance was Roman Kopilov. I imagine he'll get a lot of criticism for kind of relying mostly on the takedowns against Almeida just to kind of ride to an easy decision win. But you have to think it did look like he was holding his rib after the fight was over. So it did look like he had some sort of injury, probably from the body kicks. Almeida landed a lot of body shots on him. But it's also on Almeida, too, to defend the takedown. So I don't think he's entirely to blame, and I think he did the right thing to get the win. I don't know if he would have been able to survive on the feet with that, maybe rib injury, whatever it was. Maybe he had a bad liver shot that landed. I don't think he would have done well on the feet if it just stayed on the feet for the rest of the fight. So good on him. First fight off the main card was Randy Brown and Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Kind of went how I expected it to be. Dos Santos had a hard time closing the distance. Had some great moments in the fight too, but Randy's length and his aggression, even off of his back, looked much more composed than he used to in the beginning of his career. And it's been surreal to watch, man. Watching him in Prudential for his UFC debut against Matt Dwyer, then 8 years later he's back at Prudential on a main card. You love to see it. Great performance for him. I think he's going to keep climbing here. And I think he might also serve well moving up to middleweight at some point. I think he could make a statement there. I think he's got the length for it, the skill for it. I'd like to see him kind of bounce between both of the weight classes if he can. Now moving up, we had Alex Morono and Nico Price. Kind of went how expected too. Didn't have a prediction on that one. And we were right about Randy Brown, so that was like 1-0 to start the card. Nico Price, Alex Morono could have gone either way. Similar styles, both kind of brawl a lot. I think Morono's a little bit better at that style than Price is, but he did gas towards the end of the fight, which did cost him a decision. Moving up, we had Kevin Holland versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. I think I did call a submission win for Holland, so that makes us 2-0 on this card. Just crazy start to the fight. Michal drops him. Kevin, defends himself, gets an armbar, breaks his arm. That was hard to watch. And, there's always a lot of controversy with this. If the guy broke his arm, but he's not tapping, does that still warrant the fight to continue? I don't know. I mean, I think in some situations it makes sense for the fight to continue on, but in that situation in particular, you have to think about it. Holland still had him in the submission. So the arm was broken, but he was still in the submission. I think that definitely warrants a fight stoppage from the referee. Because then you're not intelligently defending yourself, like your arm's being broken and you're still not escaping position. So it would have just made the injury 10 times worse. The guy would not tap though. So kudos to him for that. But, I got to say, those joint submissions, it's probably better just to tap out. Now he's probably going to be out for at least a year or more. And especially considering he's a striker, that's going to be an annoying injury to overtake. But so good fight moving up. That was kind of the beginning of the main card. Then we got into Sean Strickland, the return of the man, versus Paulo Costa. And just kind of went how I expected. I know a lot of people were surprised by Costa's unwillingness to engage, but there seems to be a theme with Costa now. You look at the Vettori fight, the Adesanya fight, even the Whitaker fight, I would argue a little. When he gets into these fights with these high-level guys, he tends to shell up a little bit. which I don't think he has to do. It's a shame, but he has a mental block there. I think he had it in the Adesanya fight. The fact that he got knocked out the way he did in that fight made it even worse. And, he's really going to have to get back to the drawing board on the mental side of things to really see how he's going to get back to the Costa that fought Yoel Romero those years ago. And for Strickland, just excellent game plan. Walked Costa down. Costa's nerves, and the fact that he was backing up a lot definitely helped, but just an excellent performance from Strickland. Anytime that he did rush in on him, he did it in just the perfect range to where Costa couldn't get a shot back. Just a great performance for Strickland, and in my opinion, the young crown champ of middleweight right now. But let's talk about the decision. 49-46 for Costa. Are you out of your mind? Just unbelievable decision. I don't get how you have both judges having 50-45 or 49-46 for Strickland, yet you have someone on the complete opposite side of the spectrum voting for Costa. It just doesn't make sense, and these judges, they need to start getting, held accountable for this kind of stuff. This stuff happens all the time. I'm curious. I have to check back. I wonder if this is the same one. Which fight was it? Was it the Roman Kopylov fight where they scored against him too, and made that a split decision when it didn't have to be? I'm curious if that's the same judge, because that might mean there's some bias there. Just saying. But just very odd scorecard. I thought the Duplessis scorecard was bad, but this was even worse. So I don't know what the UFC is going to do about it. If maybe these athletic commissions will start looking into this stuff a little bit more. But this stuff's been happening for years, not just to Sean Strickland, even though it has happened to him a lot. I remember years ago, one memory I have is Melvin Gillard, Jamie Varner. Varner took him down on several occasions, dominated the striking, yet two judges had a 30-27 for him. One had a 30-27 for Gillard. I just don't know what some of these judges are looking at. But not to rant on that too much further, I think Strickland's definitely in line for the next title shot. He said he's going to wait. And from what how Dana's been talking about Strickland's performances, I think Dana will give it to him. I don't think, it sounds like they have a pretty good relationship going on. So, hey, good on Strickland. Glad to see him back. And hopefully, we could see him against the winner of Duplessis and Adesanya. Now, moving up to the main event, we were right about this one too. Also right about the Strickland fight, but it was one of those fights I hated to be right because it would have been nice to see Dustin Poirier. In reality, I think this was his retirement fight, even beforehand when he was talking about not really being sure of what he wanted to do after this fight. You could actually see it on the UFC embedded. Just either way, he really performed well and he gave it his all, and it was an incredible war to watch. You could just see the differences with Makhachev and Khabib. They're definitely not identical, even though they're very similar in their styles. Makhachev is a much better striker and fared better than Khabib would have on the feet against Dustin. But his takedowns aren't as strong as Khabib's was, nor is his top game quite where Khabib's was. So that did buy Dustin some time and allowed Dustin to kind of stuff the takedowns and land a lot of good shots on the feet. And he had his moments, kudos to him. But unfortunately, that fifth round, he was generating some good momentum. He escaped the takedown, got back up to his feet, kind of fell back though onto his stomach almost. And Makhachev took advantage and got a position like a Darce choke, and then that was it. He got it tight, and next thing you know, Dustin's tapping. But either way, amazing performance by both guys. Definitely an amazing one to watch. One of the best main events in a while. And wherever Dustin goes from here, hats off to him. It's been amazing watching his progression from featherweight to now lightweight, almost champion status. It's been amazing to watch his career. Whatever decision he wants to make is entirely up to him. There's a good chance it's his last fight. I don't think he's the type to fight just without having the title in mind. So if this is it, thanks to Dustin Poirier for an amazing UFC run. And as for Makhachev, there was talks about a potential Leon Edwards fight. I think that'd be a good fight. I think in reality, though, his next fights will be Arman Sarukian, and I would be remiss to think that the winner of McGregor and Chandler doesn't have a shot at the title. And I honestly think Michael Chandler is probably the best matchup for him if you're looking for a guy who could beat Islam Makhachev. But we'll see. Overall, an amazing card. Let me know what you all think in the comments of it. Were your predictions right as well? And if you did like the video, leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And until next time, see you later.